I don't want to say problems, but like situations for me that it would for like a younger person like you who has less experience. I always felt I was relying a lot on the experiences that I had before. And so that's why I felt like I was able to stay, pretty chill most of the time, even though I wasn't doing everything right and I was making mistakes or whatever. And I still was not gonna get like in my own head too bad and mess up the whole thing. But for you being 20 and a blue belt that hasn't done, 10 or 12 years of competitions and stuff like that, when you showed up on day one versus the night that we had the match, what do you think had changed for you? Yes.
A lot. Seriously, though, a whole lot did change, man.
It's true.
I learned that I don't have to be, a dick to just go out there and win or be good at jiu-jitsu. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to do any of that. That's honestly, I feel like that's kind of one of the biggest lessons I learned right there was, I didn't really have anything to prove. I had a lot of guys like respect already, but I didn't feel that way. I felt, I don't know, I just felt like it's hard to talk about this sometimes a little bit because I'm still trying to decipher it in my head a lot.
For sure.
But I learned I don't have to be a dick to be good or to win at jiu-jitsu or anything. So that was just from the first day and then between our match.
What was that conversation like with having the Elkins brothers? Because they're kind of homies of yours. They're a little bit older and further into the game than you. Like what was going through your mind when they? Because Jake said that you approached them a couple of times and was asking them questions. So what was that like?
When Matt, I believe it was when I started to palm Big Mike's face after he had passed my guard, and Matt was just they put a little thing I was like, okay, and then during that match, I just kind of my game just shut down.
Yeah,
because all the thoughts in my head were just oh shit, and then I literally just kind of rolled over and let him pass, and then he tried to finish an arm triangle for a long time, which he didn't.
And so yeah, honestly, this is a funny thing is I saw in y'all's match that you did the frame across the waist to block it, which is super high level play to make. A lot of people don't even think to do that. They don't, and they won't stay with it either because of the pressure. They can't take it. And so then you did it to me too, and I thought to myself, I was like, I think I still have it, even though you're doing that frame. I thought I was going in the right direction with it still. So there's a thing there that you're already doing that's pretty high level, I think, compared to what a lot of other people were obviously doing, because it was easy for me as soon as I got there on everyone else to get the kill. So you nobody probably knows, maybe except for Isaac, how frustrating that was for me to not get that finish. To be honest with you, that was incredibly frustrating. To see it, seeing it play back last night, it happened in an instant. I got the choke set. You squirmed and fought your way out of it. But when I was holding your neck and squeezing, I could feel I was like, oh, he's about to pass out. He's about to pass out. He's about to pass out. And then your elbow slipped. And it felt like the longest amount of time between then and the end of the match.
Oh, 10 seconds or something like
that. And it wasn't that I was necessarily even tired as this. I was just like, time's up. You lost. It felt like a loss because I did everything I should do, but still didn't get the points at all. And then now I had basically the 2 more matches that day. So that's what I say to everybody else. It's they're commentating and talking about it as it happens on the show or whatever, but I sold out in the match with you on the first match of the night or whatever, and went for a bunch of stuff, and they were, it's really interesting because you get a little bit critiqued for doing it slow and whatever, and then you get critiqued for going fast. Mm-hmm. So like you're saying, the really thing is that what you got to know is that you're not going to do it right ever for everybody. There's always going to be somebody looking to critique it. There's always going to be somebody piping in from somewhere else, and they could be right or they could be wrong, and that's up for you to decide, or if you want to let other people decide who you are and stuff like that. I think what you were doing most of the time was legit. I think you're a little bit aggressive. I think people need that. I think that once you learn what you're doing with that, then you'll be a lot more dangerous. You got to learn where to put that stuff, and that's what I saw. I used to be that way a lot. I used to feel that way, and being an MMA fighter, it was easier just to lean into that side of everything, and that's what you're supposed to be doing is kicking people's ass and beating them up. So that's why I started what I'm doing now. That's how you know what I mean? So like the journey for me wasn't immediately to be this black belt that's really cool and friendly and everybody likes me or whatever. It was like I like hitting people and making them hurt and quit and stop. So like it's a part of the process. And so I don't know, man. I saw something, I guess, with the song and everything. And it's funny, people think that's a joke and everything. Like, but it's literally not a joke to me.
Some people hate it, but dude, like that's me.
My opinion on it was not even about the song itself or anything like that at first. At first, when I saw it, I was like, what's this guy doing? This is a clown. You know, he's just clowning. And then I listened to what you were saying, though, and I was like, okay, he put way too much into this just to be a parody. Like this, and that's why I was like, it's not a parody. I was like, people think it's a joke.
It's real.
I was like, you're being funny a little bit. Serious. This is like. And
Just being myself, man.
Right, but that if you are a hip hop fan or like a whatever from before, this is how you know who people are. If they put a verse down on something, then like that's real to them. You know, it's a real thing. And so that's what I was like. I don't think anybody else is thinking about this the right way. I don't think that they're thinking about this the way that he's thinking about this. And I was like, I knew that I could beat you and I would be better at jiu-jitsu than you and just like everybody else. But just like I said, when the lights come on, it's always been different. I beat a black belt when I was a blue belt just because he was older and wasn't in shape and didn't want it as bad as I wanted it at that point. You know what I mean? So it's real. I know that happens to people, and I didn't want to let it happen to me for sure.
You didn't want to get dunked on. What are you going to do? You just opened a school.
Yeah, I just opened a school, you know, and I got these blue belts running the game on me or whatever. But then at the end of the day, that is what it's about. That is what it's about for me. While I still need to go out there and carry the torch and see what's up. Sure, I'm a little bit older, but I'm still good enough to go out there and run it and compete and do well enough. And sure, I don't win everything. Okay, you know I'm okay with that now. It used to bother me a lot more, but I'm okay with not being able to win everything. Even as the school owner, a lot of people start to hide then, and not necessarily because they're afraid, but just out of necessity. They're coaching, they're busy, they're working, they're not training for themselves anymore. They're putting their energy into their school and their students. So that's legit. I get that. But then a lot of times it's just convenient to talk about what you would do versus what you do. And so what this did for me was create an opportunity to have several conversations with our students about like the way they think about in class and the way that you hear people say, this is how it's done, and this is what you would do, and if so-and-so did this and that, you know, it's like, well, this is what I would do, and this is what I say I would do, you know? So like, for you're going to get those experiences, and so that's what was interesting about it. Everybody got a lot, I think, of growth if they were there for the right reason or if they were there looking for anything like that. I think some people's attitudes last night that we saw on the show really, like, pointed at a couple things that you know, about different people that made it whatever. Like, because some of the people weren't there to be friendly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you weren't the only guy there that was, like, not trying to be cool with people. Or not that you weren't trying to not be cool, but, like, you were just trying to compete. And
during the match. Yeah, like
compete.
You were only there for one reason, basically, and that was to try to win. And
did that come from, like, previous experience? Like, were you like, down and dirty kind of, like, football player or basketball player?
So I played football the first time in 4th grade because I love watching it. You know, my dad like grew me up on like watching football like every Saturday, and then we watch NFL on Sundays. So like I was just a big football fan. And I was, you know, like 4th grade. Hell yeah, I'll try to play some football, and I hated it because just running, and I was like, I just wasn't good at it right off the bat. So I was like, why would I do this? Like I suck at it. So I played in 4th grade, 9th grade football, and it was literally just the same thing again, just harder. So I hated it more. You know, and then in between that, I did wrestle for like 2.5 years in middle school. So nothing crazy. I really think that it was my first 2 matches when I came out and had Elijah or Hunter dunk on me, and then Elijah dunked on me as well. Were those my first 2 matches? That was right. Yeah,
that seems about
Hunter
right.
Elijah, yeah. I mean,
crazy.
after coming out and getting dunked on like that, it kind of like
woke you up,
gave me a little pick me up. All right, like fuck these guys.
Yeah,
they're
here to kill me. Right. Yeah, they're gonna shoot me in the back of the head, so I'm gonna try to do what I can to be alive.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't realize that was your first 2 matches.
Yep. So I really think that's just what did it for me. Was like
that would have been cool. I wish that would have happened for me.
Or at least Randy before you gave him all the points.
You said like we had a conversation about something that you said like, oh, I gave you some advice on how to beat me, and it's like, damn it, why was I talking to y'all? You know, why was I even? I was just hanging out with you guys and being friendly or whatever, and I didn't care. I obviously care. That's the thing, is that you can care about winning and losing and still not be like depressed with the outcome if it doesn't go your way.
Yeah.
There's a way to lean into all of it. It's a show. It's a competition. It's a sport. It's not my life. It's not life and death. He's not taking over my house and, you know, my land and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's not taking your stuff.
Right.
And,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just,
right.
It's a handshake deal here, kind of, and where it's like, oh, man, you got me this time, kind of, and we could run it 1,000 times, and you may beat me most of those times, I guess.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right.
I like playing this game. It's like, would you quit playing chess or checkers or board games or whatever? I guess a lot of people do when they start losing, and that's that same mindset when you start hiding because you're not the alpha or the one that's on top winning a lot. I don't know. And it was interesting. One of the things that I saw Hunter say on the show was like taking on all comers, basically. Anyone that's on the come up and stuff like that. That's basically what I feel like too, and that's what I'm saying is like however people see me now. Like I didn't realize going into it that it would be such a big thing for some people to beat me. For them to think that they could beat me would be cool. You know, that they thought that or whatever. You know, they thought a win against me was a big deal or stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay, you cool. That's okay. You thought that cool. I'll give you the respect that earns you. Then, you know, I'm not gonna hide from the fact that I got tapped in 9 seconds one time, the first time ever in my life. So I got to give this kid props. Why did he do that? Oh, because he was better than me that day, right there in that moment. He got me. There's no ifs, ands, or buts or like excuses about it. He deserves to have that pat on the back. But at the same time, I'm gonna get mine too. You know, some people are gonna get smashed and some people are gonna get dunked on. But then, you know, you're gonna misplay some things. You're gonna miss predictions. You're gonna shoot for the wrong move. Like just because you're a black belt and a coach doesn't mean you're perfect. It doesn't mean so like it's been great for me to get out there and do the PGF for those reasons. And hopefully for you as a younger person, now you're hearing a lot of people say these things, and you've experienced one of those things already with some dudes that are. You were in there with some real high level people. On various fronts, like, you know, with the wrestlers. Like, for me, again, another thing that we talk about a lot is they talk about Randy being so inexperienced, and Randy's inexperienced. It's like Randy has grappled a fucking lot.
Yeah.
He's done it his whole life.
He's been doing a ton of no-gi grappling forever.
He just wasn't allowed to submit anybody.
Yeah. So it's like, and then Jake, obviously, and then Matt, obviously. You know, those three guys have tons and tons of, like, wrestling experience, which is multiple days, back-to-back days of doing a couple matches and having to go back through a consolation bracket or whatever to get, you know, back into the game. I never had that opportunity, which is not whatever. So that's why I wanted to do it, because I wanted to try to see how I could do. And I'm ending up somewhere around the middle of the top. Okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm a little, like, my ego wants to be above everybody. I want to be the number one guy. I want to beat everybody. I wanted to score points on all these people, but I couldn't, and for various reasons, you know, like happened. So I can't say it's because of, you know, blah blah blah. They cheated, or, you know, because everybody didn't cheat or everybody didn't do something. You know, it was because I made some bad decisions, and it was because a couple dudes were better than me. It was because you were willing to die, and I didn't have enough to make that happen. Mm-hmm. And so that's a real thing that I've stressed to people before that happened. Like in my classes, I tell people that sometimes, and then it's like, all right, see, I told y'all. Even I, the guy who's head and armed 42,000 people this week, you know, will also miss one. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Nobody's 100% on their shots. You don't hit 100% in basketball, or baseball players hit way less than that. You know, so me doing 15 matches in 5 days was the most jiu-jitsu I'd ever done. So I was really
in one sitting. Yeah.
To be honest, and everybody can say what they want to say about conserving energy and blah 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 blah. Yeah. I was concerned about that because I'm fucking 38 and I'm old and I got a bunch of miles on me.
Just trying to make it.
Yeah, honestly, like once they condensed it to the 5 days, I was like, okay, well now we're gonna see if we can just make it.
What do y'all think would have been different if we were? I was thinking about that the other day because Evan and I were talking about. He just drove in from Decatur, so like, what do y'all think would be different? It wouldn't be much different for you because you'd just be in town, but like
he would benefit probably from
Florida.
because it would just be home.
It would have been so much more of a longevity
Suck for
thing.
us.
Oh,
We-
bro,
we
we'd
would
still be doing
suffering.
it.
We'd be suffering.
You think it would be more taxing if it was the 8-week thing?
Definitely.
Yeah.
God.
Like for life, it would have been more taxing to do it that way.
It's just
But for
more
my
efficient in that
jiu-jitsu,
week, yeah.
I would have rather had like if it was done in Perry, I would rather do it for 8 weeks.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean?
I get
But
it.
the fact that
Hometown advantage.
I don't want to sit in the car 5 hours.
Bro, I'm doing it every week. I'm saying
10
that I've been
hours.
making that drive every week, and I'm not doing. I mean, I'm training with Brandon and them every time I'm there. And when you make that drive every single week, like it would wear on you.
Yeah. So it's real. It's real. And so like I'm glad we don't have to do it. Whatever. It's just a different game. I signed up for it, and I did really good. Did I do as good as some of the other people? No. Did I do as good as I wanted to do every time? No. Will I do it again if I could ask to? No. I'm joking.
Oh man,
But
I was like, what?
I was gonna say, is this Stephen Aiken? You have a match
so like
soon.
we're coming up. Yeah, I'm in the playoffs basically at this
Yeah.
point. It's pretty solid that everybody can say that now. I think it's pretty solidified.
I think it
we
got
can say
said.
that?
I think, huh?
We can say that.
I think at least for the numbers right now, for me, it looks like
I don't think that yours will change much because I think there's a lot between. Who's behind you?
it's Kamoy and then Primo, and so I think I'm ahead enough of them.
I believe so.
I
That-
think it's still Elijah, Jake.
I think you're still in play because there's something left next week back to your points on your team. Because I think the red is still swapping back and forth. I don't know. All the timelines blend together for me. I don't know. Is anybody in there?
I've already said it at
Egghead,
this
wait.
point.
Oh, wait. Egghead said he hasn't watched last night yet, so I guess he can't help
Catch
us
up,
either.
brother.
Egghead, what are you're slacking, bro?
Whack. That's
There
the
you go.
thing, right? That's
Because that's coming up in a minute. You want to
Super.
plug a couple people
Oh, yeah,
real
so
quick?
I guess we can
for a second.
Like
Like,
talk a little bit more, but let's let Evan say anything he wants to say really quick.
do you want to plug anything? Say anything?
Yeah, socials. Follow me on Instagram, EC_Stapler. Check it out. Like all that content. Blow it up. Support me, please and thank you.
Yeah, and again, like I am and will be supporting this cat from now on, unless he does some more crazy stuff and becomes some kind of real goon. But no, like super impressed. Coming from a good school, I think you're on the right track, man. I think the emotion is important. I think all that stuff's good. I think the fact that you care enough to get that way is what's going to allow you to be great. Not just good, but great. People who don't care don't get great. You know what I mean? So that emotion is real. You got to have that to a degree. So don't let that feel any kind of negative way for you. Always lean into that stuff. It's good. Everybody else, though, we got Parkway Automotive Studios. Thank you so much for letting us use this stuff. Peach Podcast Syndicate, they're going to let us use this equipment. We had the Mid-South Classic today at 1 o'clock.
Presented to you by
Sheath Underwear. They're our new sponsor. They're helping us out. They're going to throw in some underwears for the guys.
So
Shirt on.
comfy.
I keep touching
So
myself
comfy.
because they're so comfortable.
Yeah. They're pretty amazing.
It's weird. It's strange.
It's
but
odd, but experience
I
it.
kind of like it.
She'sUnderwear.com.
You should put some on and use Mid-South.
Mid-South
gets
saves 20.
Mid-South saves 20. We're going to do that at 1 p.m. My man Evan is in it. He's going to be throwing down in our 225 bracket. It's an EBI-style tournament, 10-minute regulation. We're running all 3 overtimes in each round, 8-guy bracket, so there's going to be 4 matches for each person to get to the money. $1,000 to each winner. We got a
Yeet.
bonus for $100 to the first twister of the day. So you guys are again live at 1 o'clock.
Noon. No, we're going live at noon with a pre-show, and then we'll be fighting at 1.
All right, all that stuff he said is probably more true than what I said about that. I'm just gonna be on here talking, and you were there for me, but like we were trying to figure it out the whole time, but it was really should have just been go out there and kill and eat. That should have been the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's not really the thing that we normally do, so it's a little bit harder to get into that groove, And then honestly, I would tell my people, do not get sucked into anybody's nice guy routines or anybody that's trying to get you to play any like friendly games or whatever, because everybody's only there for themselves, and they will do what they got to do what they got to do. So yeah, I think I would tell everybody to not really try to play in any kind of weird alliances and stuff like that, because there's no reason to do that stuff. It was weird. The stupidest part of the whole thing to me now
Understood.
is that thing. Like, if I could change any part of what I did, it would be that thing. Not really. I would be more like Evan was, honestly, to everybody.
Just kill.
And just go and just not worry about what everybody was doing, because like Zach being hurt, that took a lot out of it. Yeah, he's my friend. I was bringing him like stuff to make sure he was healthy and stuff. So because I'm a good person, because I'm not a piece of shit. So that's what I do. And so again, that's what I'm saying is like for me as a competition, did I do what I should have did? Probably not all of that. But as a person and a human and what I want to be, did I do what I should have did? Yeah, I did. So I'm happy with how it turned out. I'm happy with how it went. If I'm coaching someone, I'm going to tell them to chop people's heads off and then go home.
Bet. Go buy underwear.
Much
Sheathunderwear.com.
Sheathunderwear.com. Works bookkeeping and
Mid-South
accounting.
shaves 20.
Mid-South saves 20. We love you for so many reasons, mostly because you tune into our content.
Hey, yeah.
Woo. Ow.
Hey, how many people you tap? A lot. 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 How many times you get tapped? A lot. How many times you get pinned? A lot. How many times did you win? A lot. How many times did you lose? A lot. How many times did you quit? A lot. How many hours you put on the mat that you know you would never get back? A lot. Drillers make them killers. That's a 7 just for me. Time is running out. I guess I'll set up for the 3.
Come back to the live stream at noon. We're going to have a pre-show for the Mid-South